Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we had to restart the live so I could help out our guest here. We are here for episode 5 of Breaking Kayfabe. We have had 4 other guests on here. This will be our 5th guest, and I am very honored to do so with this man. Welcome, Mr. Naylor. Technology is not always our friend. Alright. Yes, we are. Yes, we are back. I am adding our guest right now. Hello, sir.
What's up? We on?
Yes, we are. How are you?
How's it going? I'm good. How about you?
Not too bad, sir. Not too bad. May I just say, this is a true honor to have you on here and be on the Breaking Kayfabe. We have had 4 guests. You are our 5th guest, and it is an honor.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for having me. This is Ivar the Micro, the tiniest rock star on the planet, the voice of micro wrestling.
Yes, you are. You are the first micro star that we have had on Breaking
Thank you.
Kayfabe and in
Thank you.
general on the show.
Thank you, sir, for having me.
Of course, of course. I reached out to you, and it was such an honor to even get the chance for you to even say yes to this. And I have watched your guys' work in the micro world from what I can find, and I am really inspired from how you guys have pushed your guys' self to do so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
You
It's a dream come
are
true.
the hype man
Yep. Yep.
and
Yep.
announcer and commentator and singer.
Yep, I do like 6 jobs in one. From the moment I start the job, like to start the night, the moment the show starts, I'm in there singing, and then I do every single match as far as transitions, story. I know all these guys and gals. I've seen them train. I study everything. I actually would go to the trainings just because I had to call their match, so I would see the direction that they wanted to go and where they wanted their character to go, and I was able to get on board with that and paint that picture on the microphone for them. But I had to do a lot of like when Jack sent out a text, our boss, hey, training is this day, this day, and this day, and they're doing this, this, and this. And we have Cody Hawk, who's the world's greatest trainer. He trained LA Knight, John Moxley, Sammy Callahan. And when he sends that message out, I'm just a commentator, but I still go because I want to get better and call these matches the best I can do.
You're not just a commentator because you've also been. I'm gonna expose you. You've been in the ring a couple times.
Yep. So I was in the ring for Discovery Channel. I'm the first only guy that I know of with brittle bone disease, like Shriners Hospital, to get in the wrestling ring and perform. And it wasn't much, but for me to get in shape to do all that was a lot. And then before that, I was a commentator for Harley Race when he got on television.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Harley Race, like the Harley Race.
Yes, Leland and Harley were my boss. I was the play-by-play guy. You could go on WorldLeagueWrestlingTV.com, their weekly show, and the first 50 episodes are all me on there.
Wow. I did not know this. This is news. Do you want to tell us about that now that we are learning about
Yeah,
this?
so it's cool now that I just retired from Micro to do my own thing for a minute, and so I have time to do everything I want to do. And the cool thing is I worked for Harley Race for no money. Like I was just doing that to get my foot in the door. And people don't know about the time I had with Harley because there's 25, 30 micros and they have to get all their stories out there. And you don't want to give too much time to one micro because there's jealousy stuff that goes on and things like that. You want to share the video time. So my story with Harley Race never got out there, but I tell everybody that without World League Wrestling, I wouldn't be ready for this job. And it's easy to get good at being a commentator. You get good very fast. Like all the guys and gals, the fans are so kind. Some fans tell me that I'm one of their best favorite guys in sports calling matches, but I wouldn't have had that if I didn't learn from Harley because I would go to commercial break, and if I messed up, he's right here. He's right behind me. So like I could feel him breathing heavy when I would mess up a match or a move or anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So mhm. I'm at my
So
house right
you
now.
said that you recently retired from Micro. I am shocked
Yeah.
about this.
Well, I never say never. I might do stuff down the line with them, but it's 300 shows a year. It's I'm home. People don't know the story about Dylan behind the scenes here. I mean, you guys hear my story all the time, but I have brittle bone disease, so I've broken over 100 bones. I've had over 10 surgeries. I'm in a wheelchair during the day, so I could rock out at night. I never was able to walk prior to this job and everything else when I got in shape to get on it's stage to get on in the ring, to perform. And it's taken its toll on me. And we do 300 shows a year. We do more shows than WWE. We do more than AEW. We do more than NWA. So my body I wanted to go in my mind, but my body was just dying on me. And my family never seen me. I was gone. I was only home 20 days a year for the last 4 years.
Wow. So you
Yeah.
were
But
barely even able to have time to go with your personal life.
yeah, when I grilled for the first time like last November when I was home. The first time I grilled in like 2.5 years. And just like stuff like that, I just missed it. The ultimate thing that made me stop was not really my body as much because I have a very high pain tolerance, and I probably would have just kept going until the wheels fell off. And I was starting to get to the point where, uh, like I was using a stool in the ring, the last 6, 7 months. I don't know if you guys seen videos of me singing in the last 6 months, but I use a stool in the ring because it's so much for me now because 300 shows a year every night, and it's just hard to get the energy to climb those ropes, to do this on the ropes every night. Even the days when I couldn't walk, my wife Melissa would tell me like, okay, don't do the rope thing tonight, just sing, and they like that, they're fine with that. And then I get in there and I do the rope thing, and you know
Yeah.
so
No, that's
just stuff.
awesome. I got to
Thank
learn
you.
about like you a little bit from watching from YouTube and learning about from the show you guys had on HBO Max, which I got to
Hmm.
learn a little bit more about y'all and see what you guys got to deal with.
Thank you for tuning into that.
Anytime. Like, I love wrestling and learning about any type of wrestling, no matter the type of, like, I like to look at it. Pro wrestling is my life. I love wrestling. And may I just take a
Say
minute and say hello to Joshua Naylor and Travis Edwards. Thank you for tuning in.
thank you guys. Thank you guys. Really tough day if you're a big wrestling fan like me and you are, with Hulk Hogan passing away. So rest in peace to Hulk Hogan. That was for me. I was a WCW kid, so that was he was big for me. You know.
Was he
Uh,
your number one idol growing up, or did you have other idols that inspired you from the wrestling?
uh, Sting was my end all be all. I wasn't like a huge Hulk Hogan fan. Like I just always was able to appreciate what he did because without Hulk Hogan, I don't think I would be here, Ivar the Micro, because uh, he put wrestling on the map. And if wrestling wasn't on the map, if it wasn't so mainstream, like he brought it to the fold to be mainstream, we wouldn't have 500 to 700 to 1,000 people a night at Micro Wrestling, because they want to see, it's not just little people wrestling like those other companies, it's 5-star caliber athletes, but we wouldn't have any kind of platform if Hulk Hogan didn't bring in, rock and roll and bring in all the eyeballs on the show. So
No, you're not wrong. Hulk Hogan inspired a generation to come, and look what he did in WWF, now known
yep,
as WWE, to WCW, which eventually fell, but he went back to WWE as an ambassador and Hall of Famer.
yep,
And the man did a lot. He did some. There's like people have mixed opinions on him, and no,
oh yeah,
everybody has done a lot of things in the wrestling that have with been questionable. But at the end of the day, he revolutionized wrestling.
yeah, he did. And my favorite guy, going back to that question you asked, is Sting. Not just in the ring, but out of the ring. And he's just a hero. He's a guy that you can look up to, and a guy that really never. A lot of people, like you said, have stories. They let people down. Uh, Sting would never do that. You know, he was actually a pastor, you know, outside of wrestling and just a good dude, you know, and Sting was my guy. That's what got me into wrestling.
And Sting was no. I think he's been in the wrestling for now 5 decades, 10 decades, or something like that. Like
Yep.
he surpassed like a lot. Jeez.
Yep. Yes, he did. Mhm.
What inspired you? What inspired you to become a hype man, and what did you enjoy most about that role?
Uh, the simple thing that maybe a hype man. So my biggest quality, just to start here, my biggest quality, in my opinion, and my family's opinion, I have a lot of pros and cons about me and stuff. Everybody does. But the one thing about me that my dad and my mom and everybody always knew and loved and respected about me was I was fearless. I was the first kid, and no, I'm the only kid in my whole family with brittle bones, broken. You know, I'm like a glass baby. You know, and so it's very dangerous for me. And I was the first kid to leave town, to leave my city and everything, and go to college and go to Carbondale outside of the main city to go to a university. I was also the first kid in my entire family to leave the state and move. That was very scary for me. People think it was very easy for me to do that. It wasn't. I just wanted to chase a dream. And the way that this all happened, your next question that you asked, is I seen micro wrestling one time in St. Peter's near my house in St. Louis. And I seen it one time and I was angry with them actually because I was supposed to have my band play there and they couldn't have my band. My band was called Three and a Half Men and I was
Yes,
the
I
lead
would
singer.
actually have that written down.
And I was the lead singer, and I was like, man, Three and a Half Men with a little person singer opening up for Micro Wrestling Federation. That would be huge. It would put us on the map, I feel. And then I wanted to also get Jack's attention, the owner, because maybe I could be a traveling band with that company. And the whole thing stems from I hated my 9 to 5. I hated the life of the desk jobs, and I knew I was meant to entertain people. How do I get this band thing on the weekend to every day, 5 days a week? How do I make money doing this? And then that's how I saw micro wrestling and saw that I had an in. And it wasn't any, I even called Jack and I said, I can't wrestle. I have brittle bone disease, but I am the biggest hype man you'll ever meet. If you give me a live microphone, I won't let you down. And I met him in Newport, Illinois. My mom thought I was nuts. She dropped me off at a random hotel to meet this guy, and it was 2.5 hours away in Illinois. And when I finally got there, she was nervous. She left me there. She trusted me. You know, I was like 23, 24. Uh, and trusted me, and I went in, or 26, sorry. I went in there, and when I went in there, I was talking to all the guys and gals, and they said, Jack told me, he goes, I'll do 12 shows with you, 13 days. You'll make $100 a night, $1,200. And I don't know what the hell I'm going to do with you, but we'll see what happens, you know? So he brought me in, and I went on stage in Trenton, New Jersey, and I told the band that was playing before the micro show, hey, my boss is out here. I told him that if I get a live mic in my hands, I will turn this whole company around. I can't eat my words. I have to get this right. You know what I mean? I have to make an impression. And it was like 2,000 plus people outside, you know? So I get on stage and I tell them, I need to borrow your band for 2 songs, you know, to show him what I could do. And so I get out there. They show me the set list. I said, that one, Crazy Bitch by Buck Cherry, and that one, Alice in Chains, Rooster, you know, or Alice in Chains. It was Man the Box. And so I said I picked those two because I knew those for my band. I went out there, I started singing, I ripped my jacket off, handed it to the guy, and I was in great shape. I was pretty buff for being a 3 foot guy with brittle bones. And I think the look of my hair, how loud I was, how gritty my voice was, I got them to their feet. And then Jack, my boss, pushed through people, and ran to the front of the stage to video it. And then he
Wow.
filmed it, right? And he was just dumbfounded. His face, I had this crowd in my hand, and I was just rocking it, right? The band was like, holy crap. You know, they let me just take over. And then I knew my boss was there because I seen him. And then that night, went to the hotel room, right? He's running in and out of my hotel room all night long. Oh my God, Ivar. Oh my, and I just picked my name as Ivar because I knew I wanted to be Ivar before he asked me. because I love Vikings, and he had glass bones that could break really easily, and he had the same haircut as me. So, and I look Scandinavian. So fast forward here, he's in and out of my hotel room all night long, and he's like, "We're up to 5 million. We're up to 7 million. We're up to 20 million," and he's freaking out. He gets to 20 million at like 2 o'clock in the morning. Comes in my hotel room, and right when he says that 20 million, I look him in the eye. I reach my hand out to shake his hand. I said, "Can I call Target and quit tomorrow morning in St. Louis?" Then he said, "Yes, you can," and I was out. I've been here ever since.
Wow.
Yep.
Gotta love them wild stories that lead into something crazy.
Yep. I was working at Target in St. Louis.
You said about 3.5 Men, and you are a singer, and I saw on YouTube you were singing to Linkin Park and another song, and you want to tell us about your experience with the singing business.
Yeah, so my band was 3.5 Men at the time in St. Louis, and now I'm trying to get back into music. The hardest part was I didn't have a name. I didn't have anything to hang my hat on. And even though I could hit all these vocal notes and do all these songs, people stirred away from me in St. Louis because, and I got a lot of negative comments because they didn't want a freak show for their lead singer. So that was the comment I got all the time was, we this guy won't be taken seriously. It'd be a freak show instead of a rock band, and I looked at it like different selves. And I'm the only 3'5" lead singer in the world that's doing these hard songs like this. So I looked at it as like a blessing, not a curse. You know, everybody else was looking at it like a curse and stuff. And one guy gave me a chance, and I did gigs with him. And I did System of a Down, I did Godsmack, Breaking Benjamin, Shinedown, Fall Out Boy, Journey, Ozzy Osbourne. I was doing alternative rock all the way to 80s rock and everything in between. And it was from a guy 3'5". It had never been done before. And now, fast forwarding later on, I have a name now. I have agencies that have reached out to me, and now I want to do the rock band the right way. You know, I want to gig, but not 300 shows a year.
It's understandable completely. And may I just take a moment here for the people that have joined us? Welcome, Mr. Corey Davis. Welcome, Caitlin Levy. Welcome, Joshua Jones. Welcome,
What's up,
Sam
Josh?
Regina Young. And it says to you, I love you, Dylan. Highly miss you, bro, from Joshua Jones. And Sam
Good dude.
Regina Young thanks you again for the share you did
Good
for me,
people.
buddy.
Thank you guys. Thank you guys. All that are watching. Thank you. Love you guys.
Can you walk us through your process for getting the crowd pumped up and energized, not just on the wrestling standpoint, but a band standpoint too?
So if there's no story, there's nothing. If they don't care about the people on a superficial level, not just like what they're seeing in the ring and the big build of the person and the muscles and all that, but if you can give them a backstory, then it means more. They're more invested. The reason why AEW is failing so bad is because they have no story, and there's no reason to watch these matches. It's just a bunch of people doing flips, and that's what it's become. And I love AEW. I love the talent there, but that's just an example I'm giving. Uh, what I do in micro wrestling is I paint what I see from these wrestlers, how I watch. I do it through my eyes and how I watch wrestling. I've seen the same matches sometimes. They do the same matches sometimes in the week because we do 300 shows a year. I've seen the same matches 5 days, 6 days a week sometimes, and I still call it with intensity and with purpose because you have to dive in when you're in calling these matches. You have to dive in and be all in because if you're not 10 out of 10 energy, they don't follow with you. They see the fakeness in it if you don't have it. And so I crack jokes. That's what I start with to break the ice, to let them know, hey, I'm a little person. They're little people. We're not a laughing stock like you're laughing at us, but I made the joke, so it's okay to laugh, you know? So reverse Irish whip. Oh, what a vicious shoulder tackle by Disco Dom. That was like being hit by a bus. A short bus, but a bus. And I do stuff like that. And when I walk around, I commentate walking around. So, I'll get, I'll be walking while I'm doing it. And I'll be like a short bus, but a bus right in some fan's face in the front row. And it also makes them feel like they're a part of the show. You know, it makes them feel like they're on that ride with you. And it's all real. It's all real. The emotion, what I'm going through, my convulsing when I'm calling the matches, I shake, I convulse, I bounce up and down. And I do that because I actually love wrestling. You know what I mean? It's not fake. And when I'm in it, they get in it. You know what I mean? When I'm bouncing up and down, they bounce with me. And when I'm like, reverse Irish strip, right the clothesline, is down and out, and Mario's climbing to the top. And when I do all that and I paint that picture and the climbing to the top, and that energy level is the whole time, build, you can hear the difference in the noise of the crowd, the pop, from when I'm not doing it to when I am doing it. That's nothing I'm doing. That's just anybody could do what I'm doing. It's just you got to love wrestling and you got to be all in, and you got to care about putting these people over. There was a time when they saw me as the enemy because I was getting such a pop for being an announcer, and I'm not the enemy. I can't wrestle. I wish I could wrestle. I live through these guys, and I put them over, you know, and I do my best to make them superstars. They're already superstars, but I put that picture of, you know, paint that picture, and it puts an extra something on them. You know what I mean? Like an extra shine. And that extra shine is that's the difference between WWE and AEW.
Understood. Well said. Alex Fraley says, Ivar is the GOAT.
Thank you,
And
sir.
Corey Davis, I want a link to some of these songs because he listed a lot of my favorite bands, and I will love to see your interpretation of them. So you got that.
Yeah. Thank you, guys.
How do you tailor your performances to different audiences and events?
Um, like an example of that is like sometimes we could get a little edgy with our content at like adult club shows and stuff, at bar shows, you know, using certain language and stuff. You can't do that at the kids shows. So I guess to answer your question, PGing the show up a little bit. And we have a PG show for the most part anyway, but just a little bit of edgier content on the microphone sometimes for the people that are adults if it's an all adult show, which is like the 21 and up show, you know. But besides that, usually we keep it mostly the same. It's usually pretty family friendly all the time. Just every now and again, we'll view our surroundings and see that we can get away with a little bit more, you know.
Yeah.
So.
And Alex has a question for you. Was there any more talk about Little Big Brawler for season 2?
We have not heard anything. Never say never. The guys and gals, we didn't want to wait for season 2. In my last 2 years that I was with Mike Rowe, in these last 2 years, we started filming our own sitcoms. You can also watch them on the Mike Rowe Wrestling app. This is an app that's got a lot of free content on it, and we just didn't wait for season 2. If it happens, great. If it doesn't happen, we've already kind of filmed our own things, which is available. You can see. What's up, Josh?
I've known
Love you,
Dylan
bud.
Hiley for 20 years. I love hearing all about this stuff. You're living the dream, bro. Talking to you.
He's a good dude. He's a good man, military man. Thank you, buddy.
Respect that, and thank you for your service, sir.
Yeah.
What's the most memorable hype session you've led, and what made it stand out for you?
Most memorable hype session I've led was pretty early on in my career when we did a show at Atlantic City, New Jersey. Now, that tour was brought up to me many times before I went on it. Jack had told me, my boss had told me, like, this is one of the biggest ones we do all year. And I heard that, we were doing like 500, 600, 700 a night, which is pretty good crowd. I went out there in Atlantic City to the Ducktown Tavern, and I got in the ring, and this is the first time in my song medley that I was going to get to do a full song, like from start to finish, a full medley song. And I chose Down with the Sickness by Disturbed. And when I did that, I looked around. When I finally got in the ring and looked around, it was like 3,000 people. It was like all the way. It was a massive crowd, and I was just so amped up. And I did the Down with the Sickness, and I did the no feet push-ups for the first time live in the middle of the song. And they were just so loud. It was just surreal. The other time was in South or North Carolina. It was a Marine Army base, and can't remember exactly which one. But that night I signed on a dude's hairy chest, and he ended up getting it tattooed.
Wow, such an honor there, huh?
Yeah, it was crazy. That crowd, it was one of them shows. It was indoors. It was 1,000 people, 800 people, and in that place inside, that was the most it could have possibly held. And when the roof and the way everything was shaped and everything, there was mirrors on the ceiling, so you could see it reflecting and stuff. It was like a club, the nightclub, and the sound comes to the middle where the disco ball is, where the ring is, and when they make some noise, and when I did that, they were oh, it was so loud. It was awesome. Stuff like that. I remember crowds like that when I don't feel my brittle bones. Those are the best crowds.
Respect. And I'm happy you got to experience that and what you're doing today. How do you
Thank you.
balance your energetic performances with the physical limitations of your brittle bone disease?
Well, that's where the retirement comes in, the taking time, taking 6 months here just to kind of get my body right and be home. This is my backyard, my front yard here. I got the mountain and everything. I bought this house a couple years ago here in North Carolina, and I've never been able to be here. We're home only 20 days a year. So I think balancing is just taking that time. I read all the stories about other wrestlers who did the same thing. Nia Jax was a big one. She took a whole year off, and then she was came back, and she was the best version of herself because she had that time. I think if you don't take that time, you get very burned out very fast. And as much as I love wrestling, I was getting burned out.
Alex Fraley says, What is and is the hardest part of retiring?"
The crowd, missing the crowd energy, missing the feel of when your music hits and the crowd energy. Like all the other stuff, I'm not talking crap on anybody. I'm not bringing any names or anything I went through. All the other stuff and drama in the wrestling business is so much that we go through. There's so much. I'm going to be very vague on that. We've dealt with a lot of crap behind the scenes. And now I just love wrestling and what it's brought for me. And the fans, through all the crap that I dealt with, the fans made it worth it. Like when I would have a rough day, or I miss my nephews and nieces, or my grandma and my grandpa died in the same year. When at 6:45 p.m., my grandma, who my best friend, passed away. Family was all around her, holding her hand. I got the call as she was dying, and then 5 minutes later, click, click, boom, you're on, Ivar. And I had to perform in front of 2,500 people. That was rough, and but the fans showed me that night. That was a big night because they showed me how much they care. They were chanting her name, Sherry, that night. And it really kind of kept me going for another year because, they cared at my lowest. It made it worth it.
I just want to say my deepest condolences for your
Thank you.
losses. And you
Thank you.
have our love and support here from the Shadowed City.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hello, Crystal Jaron. She says, "Hi, Dylan and my buddy
What's
Corey
up?
Davis. Where are you in North Carolina?"
Cherokee. But I can't,
Cherokee.
I'm not giving out my coordinates and all, obviously.
No, no, no,
But no.
no, 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 no. I think he was just like curious what part you were in. I don't think
Oh,
he
yeah,
would ever,
Western Carolina.
because he's also a Carolina man himself.
Oh, nice.
Can
Yeah,
you share any tips or strategies for an effective crowd interaction?
um, just being empathetic and listening to everybody's stories. Yeah, and just listening to everybody's stories and being empathetic, and knowing what they're going through. The coolest part of the job is being a role model to people. And I get stories like I had a guy that was a bouncer at Virginia Beach, and he was 300, 325 pounds, and he was hugging me, crying, and I didn't know what for. I didn't know what to do. He told me that he bought a gun and planned on committed suicide the next week. And then he came to this micro show, and I tell my story every night how I escaped a wheelchair, and my story got him to not kill himself. And that, you know what I mean? Like it gets real in those moments. And that made it worth it. I mean, that makes what the job worth it, the grind and everything else. But just being empathetic is my advice to people and listening to people.
And thank you for the motivation you have gave to not just me, but others that watches you
Thank you.
worldwide and that you give.
Thank you.
And Mr. Davis, it was the reason why he was asking. He's in Rocky Mount.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
And your buddy Jacob Heimer, Ivar, brother, I hope your retirement goes the best. I remember giving you my dog tags from Belleville, Illinois.
Yep, yep. Thank you, buddy.
How do you stay
Yeah, yeah.
motivated and energized during your performances?
Just having rest time, having time, like having the downtime is what kept me going as far as this goes because it's just so much work and you have to turn it on all the time. And if you don't have the downtime, if you don't separate yourself from the company and the entities of the company, you get really burned out. I think me and my wife just tried to make the 300 shows a year like an ongoing vacation and just tried to the rare days off in between, it wasn't home days. It was just road days. It was, you got a day or two off in a row. You were trying to get a leg up on the 7-hour drive. So you would drive, if you were like me and stubborn, you wanted all of your days off. So I would drive, if we had a day off Monday, Tuesday, Sunday night would be an early show ending at 6 or 8. I would drive 5 hours through the night and then I would drive another 2 or 3 the next day. That way we had both days off. So I think just pushing yourself to make these drives and having your downtime is a big part of it. I mean, that's why I bought my camper, was for that reason, you know.
So you can go do that traveling so you're not just always focused on the one thing.
If you see it, yep, that's it right there.
Nice.
Yeah, little Micromax campers. So that's what we use to travel the world in.
Wow, so because where you guys have micro team A and B?
Mm-hmm. Yep. There's 2 groups doing 650 shows a year.
But wasn't it one group stayed behind, the other traveled? Or did that change?
That changed. It's 3 groups
Okay.
now. So now it's one group that travels, does the majority of the shows. Like I would say 2 out of the 650 road shows, this group does 300 a year for sure. The other 3, maybe 250, is done by Micro 2. It's just as many, if not the same amount, about the same amount. And then the other group is the third group that he just added. Third group stays at the building. This is like Pinky, Psycho, Baby Jesus, the ones that have kids and the ones that have houses, been at the building mostly.
Okay. That makes
Yep.
sense.
And that 4 days a week is that building's open at Pigeon Forge.
Ah, okay. For sure. And they continue the
So
traveling
good time to let
today.
you know this shirt's available on microwrestling.com.
I remember also looking at the page. I found one of your things. It was like a tribute to you, saying thank you from Micro Wrestling, or saying hi to Ivar the Micro.
Thank you guys. Thank you all.
Uh, from your friend Caitlin, my daughter continues to talk about meeting you at Shelbyville at the drive-in this year. We still follow you even in retirement from Micro.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. It's been my honor to entertain you guys. That's a fun one too, the drive-in. That's actually one of the ones, shout out to the owners of the drive-in. That's one of the ones that lets us park and plug in, so overnight.
So what is this drive-in?
So we do like 2 or 3 drive-ins in the year. They're movie theater drive-ins. You get to watch movies in your car.
Oh,
But
okay.
yeah, but we kind of rent that building over and we do micro shows. We do shows and we do everywhere. Like we do shows everywhere from pool halls and clubs to nightclubs to civic centers and wedding centers and all these places that can hold 500 plus people. We do them. We've done what other cool ones have we done? I'm trying to think. We've done all kinds of different settings and places. We did a theater. We did like 2 different theaters where it was like old school theaters. They were made in like 1800s, you know?
Wow, that's incredible.
It was pretty cool.
What's the biggest challenge you faced in your career, and how'd you overcome it?
Biggest challenge I face is being able to get the motivation when my knee goes out or my back goes out, when I'm in a lot of pain, or when I'm homesick, trying to get up to do the show. Because I do from start to finish, so I do a lot on the show. I'm not saying other people don't, but I do a lot on the show, and it was
Yeah,
just really tiring, you know.
I would imagine that you had like 6 jobs, like you were saying.
hmm Yeah, I'm the mic guy all night long. So I start the show, I end the show, I do all the segues, I do all the picture app stuff, the giveaway. Um, I do the height and weights. I split that time with Little Miss on the MC stuff as well. So when she needs time to go backstage early or gets ready for her match, I'm covering a lot. So, but I don't mind it. I mean, I relish in that fact that they feel like I'm the best one for that job on the mic. You know what I mean? So I
It's an honor.
just, yeah, I take it like that. It just gets to be a lot sometimes with the TikTok videos and stuff. I mean, you followed us on TikTok. I did most of the talking on all of the videos, and I don't mind doing that, but it's just like you get tired, you know.
Yeah. No, completely understandable. And the stuff that you guys do traveling, and you also use your vocal cords a lot. So I would imagine that sometimes your vocals just need a
Yeah.
freaking break.
Every night, people don't know this, and you just talked about it. I would freak out almost once a week, every single week for 300 shows a year, because I would lose my voice at a show, and then I had 24 hours to get it back. And I always got it back somehow, some way, but it was hard. It was Coca-Colas to get my throat right, but sometimes the carbonation, sleepy time tea, hot tea every single night on the road. Throat sprays, a lot of throat spray.
So you have stuff to help you with that so you get through it.
Yes, yeah,
Can you
yep.
tell us
That's
about a memorable moment with a wrestler or fan or both?
For me, the most memorable moment of my life, I've had a lot of them as Ivar here because the fans are the best part. I mean, there's little girls that come up to me and say like they've been following me forever on social media. There's ones that are in wheelchairs with disabilities that are worse off than mine, and they tell me that I'm their inspiration. That's pretty awesome. That's one of the best things about the job. For me, when I was a kid, thinking about memorable moments, it was when I got accepted to Make a Wish to meet The Rock in 2002 when I was a kid. He was supposed to spend like 5 minutes with me and just a handshake, and it ended up being about 45 minutes. He was pretty awesome.
Wow. What was it like meeting him?
The Rock is the nicest dude ever. He was to me, at least, and I reached so much. Big fan. Knew that he was having a daughter, and I was like 9 years old, and I knew he was having a kid because I read his book. I was the fan that was like obsessed with wrestling. Still am. Um, People don't know all this. I never get to say it much on podcasts or to the fans. But I watch wrestling outside of this job. Like, I mean, I watch it religiously. NXT every Tuesday, Monday Night Raw every Monday. I watch Friday Night SmackDown every Friday. I don't miss episodes. I do Saturday Night Main Event. I watch it all. I do AEW, even if it's cringeworthy sometimes. I watch it. It's I don't miss wrestling. So what you see here is all real, because I'm a fan. I'm a huge fan. I couldn't hold my own head up until I was 5 years old. So all I had was time, and I was on a pallet like this my whole childhood. Could lift my head up, and I just watched wrestling, VHS tapes, and I'd mute the sound, and I'd talk like Tony Schiavone, and I did that my entire childhood. And I told my mom I was going to be a commentator one day, and she's like, "That's great, Dylan. I hope you do it. I believe in you, but have another option just in case." and there was no other option.
And you're not just a commentator. You were announcing, commentating, singing. Like you said, yeah, it's like 6 jobs. And you even got in the ring a little bit. Incredible.
Yeah, it was fun. It was a blast. I'm still accepting like independent wrestling companies for one night and stuff. One-off nights if they need a ring announcer, if they need a commentator. I still do meet and greet stuff. I'm still talking to different businesses around here where I live, trying to set up like meet and greet at the door of their business, and just interact with my fans and stuff. But the main thing, the main objective right now for me is getting my band going, getting it ready because I want to hit the ground running. My biggest regret as of now, looking back, because I did everything as Ivar. I accomplished everything I set out to do, but I never got my band to the promised land. I never got it to the 1,000+ people a night. I was a nobody back then. I didn't have a name. So now, while I have the name Ivar and I have an LLC and everything on it and all that, I would like to use that to get my band. That's the one hiccup that I never got off the ground, and I just really want to get it off the ground. I have so many ideas for my band that I didn't get to do because my guitar player was the leader of the band. He was kind of a tyrant with that. He owned everything. And then with micro wrestling, I wasn't the owner. I had no say at anything. So now, fast forward, this is our band. I have full say in everything that goes on. I have so many ideas up here that nobody, and I'm not calling any names out, but nobody would listen to. And I'm going to use these ideas now because they're good ones. Like one of them was getting a child's coffin and wheeling me out to the middle of the stage to start the gigs in a child's coffin, like The Undertaker when it had smoke, and I'd sit up out of it. The other one was a Viking boat and having my band or having members that we pay wheeling that boat out and doing a Viking Gorgarian chant kind of song to open it up. So, and the other idea I had for just, if you guys want to know this stuff, that I pitched to micro wrestling was Money in the Bank. I pitched to Money in the Bank. I pitched, when he offered the new title for the Divas, I pitched that he should be in the middle of the ring in a red carpet and have a spectacle out of it, telling the women,
Okay.
you guys have earned this. You guys have been made fun of for 50 years, and look at you now. And make it a personal moment. That never happened. The third thing I presented to him, and I'm not mad, I'm just telling you the ideas I had. The third thing I had for an idea, and I hope he does it, is a micro wrestling calendar. Every month having a new person, a new micro that fits that thing. That, we have this pamphlet that we give away for free, and this calendar would be a way better option. Just ideas like that, And I don't think I'm the best marketing guy in the world, but I feel like I have a lot to offer because I know what sells. You know what I mean? And I know what people want to see. And with my band, I have the creative control to do it.
And you look for this. How do you find this creative like this?
Just dreams. I just have dreams, honestly. They're very vivid, real dreams. I had a dream that me and my band and all the members, and I'd see their faces, and it was 1,500 people, and we were touring with the Lincoln Park Tribute Band, which is my buddies that I'm talking with now, and we opened up for Jelly Roll, and I have ties to Jelly Roll and Winona Judd, who I'm trying to reach out to. You probably look on my page, you see I did pictures, and she was at a show that we did, and I'm probably going to be on one of the shows that she's doing down the line. But I'm trying to get these names involved. I'm reaching out to them. Breaking Benjamin was another. They responded to a couple of my stuff, and I'm trying to at least open up for one of these people because that would get video with a big crowd. Once I have video of this spectacle with this coffin idea and all that stuff, the video will circulate and will get to the cool thing about being in my height is things like this. If you know how to program them right and market them right, they take off because I'm little. You know what I mean? It's just you don't see this all the time. So it's what happened with the Crazy Bitch by Buck Cherry. It was right place, right time. But those are the moments that in the moment, in your mind, if I don't sync this, this is going to be the biggest thing in my life. And in the Crazy Bitch video, in that moment, I knew that this is going to be the biggest thing in my life. And I have other ideas like that, but I need video. I need my band on stage in a big spectacle, and I need a video of it, and that alone would set us off, I feel. But it just takes time, you know?
Yeah, it does, and time will develop, and I guarantee your band will thrive and continue to thrive going forward.
Thank you.
And just like Bradley Scott King just said, you're awesome. Your ideas are
Thank
awesome,
you.
and I totally agree.
Thank you so much. The other thing I'm trying to get made, everybody else got measurements for gear in the last month before I retired from micro wrestling, a professional gear maker. I'm getting gear made for my band. I'm thinking about doing a kilt and like doing the full Ivar Viking idea. Like, I mean, I'm gonna become Ivar the Boneless on stage, kind of, and maybe even get a little wood-made chariot. I thought about that too. It would disguise my brittle bone disease to where I could stand up all night and sing without uh, running around all night. Because the problem is even though I'm in good shape and I can walk now, I get tired quick. My legs get tired. So how do I, like Ozzy Osbourne gave me some good ideas in that last gig with a chariot or a chair, but I have to stand up to sing these songs. So I'm trying to think of ideas like that.
If you do, like, there is one Viking song I could sing you after that you actually bring that up, of Valhalla Calling. That's a good
Yes,
one.
I know that one. Yep,
That one gets me
I've heard
so
that
pumped
one.
every time.
That's the one I just heard in Wisconsin with my family last week. And I looked at my dad and I said, "This is going to be the opening to our band gigs." And he looked at me and
Wow.
goes, "I could see it." And like I had never heard that song before. And then Dad played it. My dad played it, and I looked at him and I said, "Yep, I think that's the one." You know, it
If nobody has checked out Valhalla Calling, I strongly suggest to those that haven't, go check it out.
is pretty cool. And then, but like everybody always compares me to Ivar the Boneless, and that's kind of who I took the idea from. And I thought, well, Ivar the Boneless used the chariot, right? That chariot sat up high enough to where I looked like I'm standing, but I'm sitting, and I could be in that chariot all night. And if it moved at all on stage, that would save all my body, my legs. I'd be able to sing all night. I try to get these ideas because I'm not like a normal lead singer. I can't
Yeah.
stand up there for 3.5 hours and not lose my breath, and you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So
You're
I gotta
different,
figure
and
out.
you're making a way with what you have.
Yes. Yep. Yep.
And we respect you, and we love you for it, and we support you.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm not done entertaining. I still love entertaining. I just want to do it my way, and I need 6 months to recover and get my family life in order and be home in my house. You know. So
Take the time you need. Personal life is what matters most.
that's right. That's right.
Now, when you were doing the micro commentary, how did you balance providing insightful commentary with keeping the energy high?
Uh, Insightful commentary with keeping the energy high. I just keep the energy. I guess the energy is just me. It's authentic. So keeping the energy high was easy because it was energy about professional wrestling, and that's easy to reach down and grab because I get excited when I watch wrestling on TV. You know, as far as the ideas and keeping things fresh and things, uh, it goes back to what I tell the micros all the time. And some of them listen to me, some of them don't. Watch wrestling. Watch wrestling. I don't understand how people could be in this sport and be a part of it and to do it every single night in front of fans and not watch a lick of wrestling on TV. It doesn't make sense to me. Even if you don't like it, even if you think that your stuff is better, it might be better. But you got to watch what the professionals are doing because what that does is opens your mind and your creative juices to getting new ideas. Dude, I can't tell you how many times, about a month and a half ago, we were on break, right? And I'm sitting there in my house and I'm watching NXT. And what a lady. It was a ladies' match, two ladies. I think it was Lash Legend and somebody else, and it was 3 kicks. Boom, 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 right to the abdomen. She drops down to her knees, right, and then from her knees, the lady hit the rope. This lady was really short. Hit the rope from her knee. The lady was on her knees. Hit the rope, comes back, and did a head scissor, spiking her head into the canvas from her knees. The tall lady was on her knees. And I'm sitting there like thinking about the height difference between Little X and Little Miss, and I'm like, oh, because she can't do a head scissor to Little X. That was a big problem we had because the height is so different. You know, it's like a full foot and a half different. So I said, oh, she kicked her like she's knocking a tree down, and she got her down to her knees, and then ran off the ropes and did the head scissor and spiked her. I told that to Miss that she thought I was genius, and
Mhm.
I filmed it. I actually grabbed my phone and I filmed NXT on the TV and sent it to him. And I've done that probably 10 times in the last year to different micros because and some of them see it as like, oh, Ivar thinks he knows it all. Ivar think no, it's not that at all. I want them to succeed, and I want the company to succeed, and I want if I can help out with my ideas in any way. I don't think I know everything. I don't think I know more than the experts or the Hall of Famers, but I didn't get here by accident either. And I know a thing or two about this industry because I've been doing it for 10 years, you know? And if I could have insight that would help them at all, and maybe it's a way to look at a match that they didn't look, it's outside the box, sometimes a fresh perspective helps. And some of them don't see it as a negative. They see it as like, oh, I never looked at it that way. Thank you, you know? But how you give that information to them without them getting upset sometimes is difficult too, you know?
Most definitely. Trying to keep two things at once, and especially with the job you were doing at 6 jobs at once, trying to keep everything, at least a lot of the portion going.
But overall, everything I said to them people, everything I came up with, all that stuff was not for me and for oh, Dylan knows everything. It was all for I wanted this midget wrestling company to be the best. I wanted to kick every one of the others' butts. That's what it is. It's competitive. It's not me trying to steal a spotlight from these other people. It's me wanting competitive. I want to be the best. And I know what we need to do to get there. And I see the writing on the wall, and we have so much talent. And I just need to um, try to get the painted picture, what they want, what I know that they want to portray to the crowd, you know?
Most definitely, and you have captured that. I have seen that from the stuff that I have been able to gather and see. And welcome Miss Raven Black, a fellow professional wrestler, a very talented lady. If you have not seen her work, please go check her out.
Yeah.
What can you tell us about a particular memorable match or moment you've commentated?
Um, Match your moment I've commentated was my job with World League Wrestling and Harley Race, honestly. With Harley Race and World League Wrestling, I was able to do 2 times. One as a commentator, one is just running sound and bare bone. But I got to work their Night of Champions, which is their WrestleMania, which is when they bring in guests and they have a big spectacle. Well, the last Night of Champions that I got to announce, the main event was it was Leland Race with Harley Race as his manager in his electric wheelchair, his father taking on Nick Aldis for the 8,000 pound of gold, the NWA title, and it was Harley's belt, right? It was in St. Louis. It was brought back home, and it was Nick Aldis, who was on TV doing NWA Power. That was when NWA Power was big, big. It still is big, but it was fresh, it was new. And Nick Aldis was running the campaign over there. And they had just come in and they're billing this match, right? They did an interview with Harley, and Harley's looking at the belt, and he's holding the belt, and he's like, I want to bring this back to my family and this and that. And there was so many elements to it. And knowing that Harley was on his deathbed, had pneumonia, and he died a week later, after that match, it made it even like it was just like I had tears. It was so you could you could feel it in the room.
It was
Like it was
impactful.
just, yeah. Oh my gosh, the entrances were so powerful, and just him, in his race jacket, the original Harley race jacket that he wore with Vader, and he's wheeling right next to his son, and his son's trying to achieve the big one, not only win the NWA title, but imagine if he took that title from NWA Power, what that would do for our company. And not only that, but he's the son of Harley, who is famous for that title. I mean, like, I thought in my head, there's no way he's going to win this belt, but if he got close, it would be huge.
Most definitely agreed, especially carry on the legacy of a name like the
Yep,
Race family.
yep. I was honored to call that match.
That's awesome. That was a huge honor for you, and I'm glad that you got to commentate something like that.
Thank you. The other one was I've called Scott Steiner matches. I've called
Wow.
Adam Cole matches. I've called Ryback. I've called Jimmy Hart was manager at our show. Um, I also during Harley's funeral in this service was very powerful too, and it hit me really hard because he gave me my break. But I got to sit by. I look over to my right. I'm crying. We're having the reception. And I look over to my right, and it's Animal from Hawk and Animal from Legions of Doom. You know, I got to work with Chris Masters. I got to work with Ron Simmons. I got to work with Matt Seidel. Uh, a lot of big cool names.
You got to get around there, and I'm assuming you would love to work with more. Is there any aspiration of companies, like if you could give me like 5 companies you maybe want to go to?
I've reached out to the Appalachian Wrestling up north. I've reached out to
Ooh.
GCW. I've reached out to NWA. I got my buddy Eric Smalls. He's a little person wrestler, and he's in NWA right now. Uh, he's actually was going for the Dusty Rhodes Cup. I believe they won it, the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Cup. And then I reached out to my buddies in AEW. I actually got to meet a lot of the guys in AEW, Tony Khan specifically. But I reached out to them. My idea, I tried to reach out to Ryan Katz, who does the creative writing for NXT, because he came to a show. Him and Damian Priest came to a show with Carmelo Hayes and Dominic Mysterio down in Florida, and I got to meet with them. And I had the crowd in the palm of my hand, right? I was so loud. And I got on the stage and I climbed the ropes and I looked right at Priest and Carmelo Hayes, who's filming on their phone, right? I beat my chest. I pointed him. I say, "You tell Triple H what you just saw." He looked at me like I had 10 heads. Funny. But I'm trying to reach out to them, and my ultimate goal, and honestly, I really wanted to work with that Evolve. I love under the talent that hasn't been developed yet, and trying to give them pointers or just what I see. Because I'm not an in-ring wrestler, but I study this my entire life, and I have fresh eyes to see things that sometimes they don't see. And I'm like, well, what if what if you just did it this way? And sometimes they're like, oh, okay. And that's happened a lot in micro. But I don't want to overstep. It's a tough line to try to help them out and not overstep. So,
Well, I guarantee one day that you possibly could be the next WWE ID because recently, I don't know if you know, but Psycho from Micro Wrestling Federation actually is a WWE ID.
is he? Oh, nice.
Yeah, yeah, apparently he got one, and I'm like,
Dang.
with you talking about this, I feel like they could be looking towards you.
Never know. You never know. I would just love to um, be a play-by-play commentator somewhere in those big fields. I just love wrestling. I love progressing storylines, and I love having some creative control. I love everybody in micro wrestling, but I didn't have a lot of say so in what happened. And I just feel like I have a lot to offer in my ideas and things, and I would love to help any of these indie companies out. I even offered Memphis Wrestling a one-time, like one show for free, just not pay me, one show, just so I could show them what I could do. Memphis Wrestling here in the state nearby. Um,
No, Raven
so
Black actually was just there the other night competing with Big Mama versus the Vibe Check.
Okay, well, she knows. She probably knows who I reached out to. I've talked to Dustin Starr a handful of times over there. Never could get anything in the books. He never. I don't think because there's not like good video of me doing a full match. There's like clips and stuff. I feel like he doesn't take me for real, or maybe it's because we're in Little People Wrestling that it's hard to get taken seriously. I get told to reach out to these companies by people that come to our show and they say that I transcend wrestling. I could go and do this for any company, and I feel like I can. But, and I want to try, but the stigma of the midget wrestling company is on me. And sometimes with the big companies, they steer away from it. It's like a joke. First thing they think is joke. They don't even look you up, look at your stuff, look at what you're doing. They just midget wrestling is always associated with a stigma or a joke. And now Micro's starting to break that mold. We took pride in being superb athletes, but the stigma's been built for 70 years. Guys like Hornswoggle, guys like throw around dummies that they're not legit. No offense, Hornswoggle, he's not legit. We have legit talent here. We have guys that can really go. The gimmicks that he was doing with the Vince McMahon's son and all it belittled little people. It made us like a joke. And micro wrestling makes us like a spectacle, like a big, like we're on the same stage as WWE over here. Little show could beat up most of the guys on AEW. Seriously. You know what I mean? And it's offensive sometimes that like Dustin Starr, not calling him out personally, but like they won't reach or give me time of day because I'm little. And that was what made me famous over here. It's like it's hard to break the stigma. You know, if Raven could reach out, they could come to his senses. Show him some videos. I've seen the commentary over there, and it's not bad, but it could be better, and they could get more butts in the seats if they had somebody painting the picture that knew what they were doing. I can't stand Violent J. He's not a commentator. He's a musician. He didn't, he got the role because he was in Insane Clown Posse. I get that. But now he's got that role in all these companies, and they will not, because he's a big name in his music, they won't try anybody else. You know what I mean? They already got their guy. So they won't try anybody else. So the door is kind of closed for me to try, I offer to work for free, you know, at Memphis. So I don't
Well,
know.
never say never, like you said. You never know what could change down the line. Even like a day could change
True.
something. You know what I'm saying? Anything
Yep,
can
that's
happen.
true. Yep, you never know. And I'm not saying Violent J is a bad guy. I just
No,
don't think
no,
his
no.
commentary.
I hear you.
I don't think his commentary is good. And I don't think he should be there. And I think he takes a spot from other people that could be better. So, it's my opinion.
Hey, everybody is entitled to one, and on here on the show, we're allowed to talk about whatever you feel like. This is breaking kayfabe. Let out what you need to, as I say.
But Raven, if you get in touch with them, let them know. Let them know.
Welcome, Izzy James, the Gutter Snake. If you've never checked out his stuff, I
Oh,
had
yeah.
him on the Breaking Kayfabe actually just before you the other day, and it was a true
Okay.
honor.
Heck yeah.
How do you stay current with the latest developments and trends in wrestling?
Just watching wrestling, just keeping up with it, and just knowing what's like, oh, okay, that got a good reaction from the crowd. Like most of the time, it's trial and error. I know that's what they're doing too on TV. It's trial and error. It's you say something on the microphone with full conviction, you throw it at the wall. It's gonna either be really stupid and not work, and you're like, I'm never saying that again, or it's gonna be like, gotta get a huge reaction, and it'd be like, oh, put that in my back pocket. It's just trial and error, but I keep up with it heavy. That's how I'm able to know what's kind of selling nowadays. Is I just watch every company I can.
What do you think is the most important aspect of building a strong connection with the audience?
Being personable, like when I do my concert, I'm in full gear and my glasses and everything's on and all that. when I tell my story in the ring before or song 2, I always take my glasses off because I want the eye contact with them, putting them like your buddies with them because you are. If you care about your fans, they mean a lot to you. So making a personable connection, like eye contact with them, and just being there for them, and listening to them. So that's what I try to do.
Welcome, the mighty Chris Cleve. He is the one that helped make that poster for you.
Oh, thank you, sir. Thank you. Did a great job. Thank you.
He, I believe, actually saw you at one of your shows. He's from Texas.
Oh, thank you, buddy. Thank you. Yeah, shout out to Texas. We like going there. We do a lot of shows in Texas.
What do you
Texas.
think? Huh? What?
I said Texas is good to us.
Any memorable moment in Texas you want to share?
We had a couple. The Spindle Tap Brewery was a great one. I mean, it's like 600 plus people every night there when we go. Spindle Tap's over in Houston, Texas, and they got really good food and stuff like that. But the energy was always like 10 out of 10. You remember the shows where like I start shaking, convulsing, and the 10 out of 10 energy? Like those are the shows you remember. The other ones, you remember them, but there's so many of them that, like I said earlier, I remember the ones with the personable fans that had the one-on-ones with me, and I remember the ones that made me feel like I didn't have brittle bones. If the adrenaline was like, and I didn't feel my brittle bones, I remembered that one.
Oh, I get that. Can you tell us about a particular memorable wrestling moment or match that stands out to you to this day?
That stands out to me to this day. Yeah, me and my wife just talked about it the other day. Yeah. So they just showed it the other night and they were flashbacking on it. But when I was a kid, I got into wrestling. I didn't have cable. I got into wrestling because my grandfather, my uncle Adam, was coming out of wrestling, didn't like it anymore, and wanted to get rid of, I guess he got made fun of it by his friends and stuff at school. And he gave all his VHS tapes to me. And my grandpa thought I'd be into it. It was Sting versus Ric Flair, Great American Bash, 1988. That was the VHS tape that I watched, like, or 89. Yeah, 89. Like, ad nauseum. You know what I mean? I watched that thing until it stopped working. That match, the build up, the feel of it, and he won with an inside cradle, which was so out of left field, just didn't happen. It was so old school, and it was just a perfect finish. And the commentators were there with it. That was huge. The other thing, being a commentator myself, was Goldberg and Hogan. If you mute the sound on that moment, think about that. Think about if you had Mick Foley fall off the cell and muted JR. Like, you know what I mean? It's just, they make it, man. They make it. And,
No, I hear
and with,
that.
with the commentators on that particular one that I'm talking about, the NWA one had that build. It was just a great build. And the Goldberg one, this place will erupt when he picks him up. He's got him up. That was just, I could feel, that moment, great.
Yeah, that's awesome. I hear that.
It's a collaboration, man. Those moments only happen if every person is doing their job, from the referee to the players in the ring to the commentators. If everybody is doing their job on cue, that's how you get those moments.
Must indeed, must indeed. And thank you for your insight. We love this.
Thank you.
How do you prioritize your... Wait. Sorry. Can you share any advice for others who may be pursuing a similar career path?
Just don't give up. I mean, it's tough. I didn't get this job until I was like 26, 27 years old. I've been touring hard for 4 years. But I did 6+ years of counting my coins at Coinstar. If you've never done that, know what I'm talking about, but I counted my coins at Coinstar to pay my gas to get to Harley Race's
Okay.
World League Wrestling. Because it was my coins were my gas money, because all of my other money in my paycheck went to my rent. So I had nothing. Like I was paycheck to paycheck my whole adult life until micro wrestling, and I don't have a college degree, you know. So I only got the job because I'd worked 12-hour days at Best Buy, and I worked at a Enterprise Center at night for the Blues, the St. Louis Blues, and so I was gone 12-hour days, and I would leave a voicemail at lunch. Every lunch, every afternoon, I'd call Harley Race's World League Wrestling and leave a voicemail every time. And then finally, 6 months to a year later, he called me back.
Wow. It
I
sounds like
annoyed
you
him.
had a relationship with him personally.
Yeah, I just annoyed him until he called me back. But squeaky wheel gets the grease. That's what my dad taught me. And it's served me well my whole life.
How do you stay motivated and driven to succeed?
Just not, I mean, honestly speaking, to be honest with you, because I just talked about this too the other day, uh, not wanting to go back to where I was. The fear of uh, going back to the 9 to 5, counting Coinstar and stuff, and just the fear of not having enough to make ends meet, and keeps me driven, keeps me going. And also, my body, I wasn't promised tomorrow with my brittle bones, so I got to push my body to at least move a little bit every day to keep physically going. Uh, so that keeps me driven. But mainly, it's not having regret when I'm older, and not wanting to go back to being really poor, and wanting the best for my family. What keeps me going.
What's something people might not know about you?
Um. I don't know. I'm a big video game guy. So when I'm not working, I like my video games. I play a lot of sports games. I actually, oh, okay, yeah. So I, fun fact about me, I was so good at the sports games because I brittle bones. So when I'm not working, that's what I could do physically. So that's what I do, and I got good at it. But when I'm not working, I play hockey, NHL hockey, and other sports games like that. I was rated number 500 in the world in hockey online, and top top 100 in like my league in hockey. Like if you play NHL online stuff. So that's a fun fact. Also, I dabbled in guitar. I know how to play a little bit of guitar, and I write songs.
You're not just a singer, you're a songwriter and a guitarist.
A little bit, not really a guitarist. I do chords, basic stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
But still cool.
And not as good as the other guitar players I've seen, but I'm trying.
That's what matters. You go, gotta try it, and that's what matters.
Yep. The other thing about me, I'm a mountain man. Ever since I bought this house, I like grilling. I like cooking a lot. Actually, I just like when it comes to meat stuff. Like my wife does all the side stuff, and I do like the meats and stuff. And I get really experimental when it comes to that stuff. Like I'll throw some cheese in there, or mix the meat with stuff. Different seasonings, and I enjoy that. The other thing is bonfires and having friends over. We got a good community up here where I live, and just having friends over, stuff I never got to do when I was with Micro.
And you were texting me in DM saying how you travel a lot, and so you get a chance to travel.
Yep. Yep. I travel quite a bit, so not having to get my car is really awesome. I mean, I was getting to the point, and you got to have family stuff too, and my family doesn't live close. So I told my family, I will see you guys, but I need like 5 to 6 months of not driving. Like I need time. Like I never complained much about the drives. I did all the drives. I made time for the family, even though I was doing 300 shows a year. And it comes to find out later on, the drives are coming back to bite me. I mean, underneath my leg, I feel like my veins are really hard, and I thought I had a blood clot from so much driving last week. Just scary stuff like that. The driving hurts my body more than the actual performance.
And with
To be
your
honest.
competition, it's really sometimes hard for you, I'd imagine.
Yeah, the drive sitting upright for 6 hours at a time. I did it every day, but it was just it's just now starting to really catch up to me. And I walk with a limp now a little bit. I just don't want to lose everything that I worked to get on my feet for, you know what I mean? I still have stuff I want to do with the band and stuff on my feet, and I don't want to work my body to death in micro wrestling and that window will close so that I could do that, Because you guys will be able to walk till you're 50, 60, if you're really lucky and great health and stuff like that. The reality is I probably may not be moving like this well when I'm 40 or 45. So I have a ticking clock in my head of things that I have to get done before that happens. So,
Do you have a role model or inspiration in your life?
um, my dad is one, and Sting would be the other. I mean, like if we're talking like a professional role model. Also, Kurt Warner. I grew up a big St. Louis fan. Kurt Warner was always a hero to me. If you know Brenda and his story, the Treasure House, and how they sponsor people with Down syndrome, and they actually have like 9 kids, but like 6 of them are disabled kids, and they're adopted by them. So,
Oh,
I mean, it's just just a cool dude. And honestly, now battling my disease and overcoming it, my favorite thing about what I do is the disabled kids. Like if other kids, and I've seen it, because they used to do it to me, if other kids in the crowd are ignoring that kid in the wheelchair, I will beeline, and it's not a bad thing to those kids, right? But I will walk right past those kids and go to the kid in the wheelchair, and then I'll come back later and talk to them. But I make a priority. I will ignore everybody to go right to that kid in the wheelchair because I remember what that felt like, you know, to be just ostracized by other kids. And it's not anything, they're just kids. But I remember what that felt like. And I still talk to them kids. I still have a moment with them, but I make priority for the kids in the wheelchairs.
that's awesome. You sound like a genuine guy in real life. And I'm
Thank
glad
you,
we've
buddy.
gotten to
Thank you.
know you today.
Me too, man. Me too. This has been fun.
Can you share any goals or aspirations you have?
Uh, the goals and aspirations is to get a Comic Con gig. I want to get booked on a major ongoing storyline telling wrestling company, even if it's just a one night only. Like, I mean, one of the even if it's indies, just a big one. I kind of like the Appalachian one that's nearby. GCW is a good one. Um, you know, I've reached out to both of them, but those are my things that I want to do before I'm done. I want to work for one of them companies as an announcer, make a big moment there for them, and then I also want to do my band thing at least for a year and have full gigs and see how it goes.
How do you see yourself evolving in the wrestling world in the next few years?
Um, I hope that one of them companies like Game Changer Wrestling or any of them gives me a platform because the problem was is we had clips of what I did at Micro. Just clips. We didn't have full on matches. And like you said, you had no clue that I called Nick Aldis matches and stuff before this. So it's kind of hurt me that we don't have footage like that because I don't have anything tangible to really show these people. But if one of them gives me an opportunity, I know what I can do with the microphone, and I know that I can help those companies out. Um, so it's just about getting an opportunity. I'll be waiting and just hopefully I get my moment to try it because I know I won't mess it up.
Final question of my questions here,
Love you
sir.
too, Kayfabe Keaton.
What do you want your legacy to be?
A kid that was passionate about kids with disabilities, a kid that was passionate about wrestling, and somebody that was just a big fan. And I was a nobody who was poor and in a wheelchair, working at retail Target, who made a life for himself just because he believed in himself. It wasn't because I went to a university. It wasn't because I graduated. It wasn't because my mom had money. It wasn't because of anything else like that. It was simply because I believed in myself when nobody else did. I knew what I could do with a microphone. It's just about getting somebody to listen to me. Once you get somebody that's up there to listen to you, the worst thing that they can tell you is no. And all these people in your life, good and bad, you get a lot of them that give up on their dream because it's too big of a dream. Well, what about failure? Well, you could still work your 9 to 5, make your money, and still try to pursue that dream. But the problem is people think it's too big and they give up. I was a kid that couldn't hold his own head up until I was 5 years old. I didn't walk. I didn't take a single step until I was 15 years old. And I was in a wheelchair my entire life, who broke over 100 bones in my body. And now I'm Ivar the Micro, simply because I pushed people and pressed on it until they gave me my opportunity. I didn't accept anything else than that. If they sold me no, okay, forget that. On to the next person. Okay, on to the next person. I know who I am. You just got to believe in yourself and keep going. And eventually I found the right guy. I saw micro wrestling. I made a call, and I moved. I just moved. My mom, everybody thought I was stupid. Everybody thought I was nuts. Until my mom came to visit me and helped me move into my new house in Knoxville, Tennessee, and saw my face on 3 billboards on Pigeon Forge on the way. And that was the
Wow.
moment for me. So nobody's going to believe in you sometimes but your own self, not even your parents. And that's not anything bad on them. I love my mom. I love my family. But you have to believe in yourself when nobody else does, because there's going to be times when you're the only one that does.
Kayfabe Keaton asks, "What's next for Ivar the Micro?"
The band, thank you, buddy. Love you, buddy. The band is next for Ivar the Micro. He's got his podcast too, Kayfabe Keaton. I was on that a while back. Ivar the Micro is not done. I'm going to be gigging around. I still want to inspire people, but I bought a house that I never get to enjoy, and I'm enjoying it right now. I really am. I'm loving it. Bonfires every night, hot tub every day, coffee just every day. It's awesome. It's great. I never had this, so I'm gonna sink this for a minute and enjoy it. But I also want to get in shape. I need to lose about 10 pounds before January, which is a lot for a 3'5" guy. And I want my band to be successful. That's the next journey.
Well, you have our
And hopefully
support
sing
here
with
at the
Jelly Roll.
Shadowed City.
Maybe sing with Jelly Roll one day. That's the goal.
Ooh, that'd be a true honor.
I've been told I kind of look like a smaller Jelly Roll. Very smaller.
I could see it. I could see it.
I think me and Jelly Roll would create some magic together. I've reached out to Bunny, his wife, many times. My wife talks to her on TikTok, and so I tried. He's liked my videos and stuff, and think about this. And it keeps me up at night. It still keeps me up at night, and this is the inspiration I have for you guys. It still keeps me up at night that I am friends with Winona Judd and Jelly Roll and all these people. And Snoop Dogg just shared my stuff last week and talks to me, and Mike the Situation from Jersey Shore. The long story short, where I'm going with this is my wild dream, little dude in a wheelchair at Edwardsville, Illinois, a little podunk little city, right, would be this. You know what I mean? And all you got to do is push to your fullest and know who you are. I knew I was Ivar before everybody else did, and I knew that if I got the stick in my hand, I knew what I could do with it. You just got to believe in yourself.
Well, Mr. Ivar, you are inspiration to many, and you will continue to inspire and thrive. And I just want to say thank you again for coming on Breaking Kayfabe. And those were all the questions I had. Before we sign off, any final words?
Nothing's impossible, and there's never promised tomorrow. And from me, the voice of micro wrestling, don't have any regrets. No college degree or a college degree. Go seek your dreams. Ivar the Micro said so. The tiniest rock star on the planet. The voice of micro wrestling. And I'll see you down the line at one of my band gigs, which I hope you're there, because if I crowd dive and you don't catch me, I'll probably die.
Well, I hope I get to catch one of your shows in the future. Like I said, you have our support on your band, and if you get it back
Thank
on
you.
the wrestling, we support you. We support you on both, and we hope to have you here back on the Shadowed City.
Thank you so much. It's been an honor to do this podcast. Thank you all for tuning in, and may the micro be with you.
May the micro be with you, and peace out.
Peace out, buddy. Love you guys.